Hi kids, Uncle Corey here. Before we start the show, I wanted to brief you on a quick announcement. My debut novel, Back to the Hunt, has finally been announced. The release date is March of 2023. However, pre-orders are open now. So if you are into military sci-fi thrillers, even if you're not, you should do it anyway, you can pre-order the book right now. You can do that at the link Armando has posted below for us. And it does help a lot. So if you pre-order, let me know, and I might just send you a special thank you. I mean, I'm going to say thank you in the comments anyway. You know how I do. But other than that, yeah, it really helps. So Back to the Hunt, available now for pre-order, 5310publishing.com.
Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. That's Corey. And today we're doing 1992's The Bodyguard. Before we get started, if you want to follow me or Corey on Twitter, you can follow me at Junior D's. You can follow Corey at Corey_idol. And you can also follow the show at Kiss the Reviews on both Twitter and Instagram. And both of those accounts, by the way, post a hell of a lot more than me and Corey do. And they actually post quality content.
Yes, they do.
They do. We don't.
They do. We don't. At all.
And once again, thank you, Christina, for helping us with all of that. We couldn't or wouldn't do any of that without you.
Yeah, no, that literally is all her. So say hi to her. Yes,
absolutely. So without further ado, let's get into The Bodyguard, 1992. We'll start with the cast. This film stars Kevin Costner as Frank Farmer, Whitney Houston as Rachel Marron, Gary Kemp as Cy Spector, Bill Cobbs as Bill Devaney, and Michele Lamar Richards as Nicki Marron.
I think they stopped short. Like they had Cy Spector, Frank Farmer. It should have been like Rachel Railroad. Bill Butler.
Alliteration aside, these are some shitty names.
Dude. Look, I will honestly, I used to be very hard on names and books and movies and television because so many of them follow like the comic book code of alliteration. And I just fucking hate that so much. However, it is very difficult coming up with character names. I would imagine I came up in one novel and 2 short stories. I have come up with probably 3 original character names. The rest are all just people I know.
You know what? That's the way to go. If you're going to do it, that's the way to go.
Says who?
But honestly, Frank Farmer is one of the worst fucking names
Yeah.
ever put on script.
Yeah.
It's just bad. It's just bad.
They could have just called him like Johnny Badass. It would have been a better name than
Call him
Farmer.
Frank Smith. Smith is always an easy one to go to.
You can't go wrong with Stone. Stone as a last name is always good for any like bodyguard, you know, the roughhouse guy, the guy that roughs people up. Stone is always a good name.
And it matches personality because this motherfucker, they could have named him Frank Wet Blanket.
The movie opens with Frank Farmer shooting and killing somebody in a parking garage while protecting one of his clients. Frank is this former Secret Service agent who's haunted by the fact that he wasn't there when Reagan was shot because he was off duty, and apparently that's like haunted him for fucking decades or a decade.
Yes, for a very long time, to the point where he has to bounce from client to client. And I mean, I think the opening is a little aggressive, just from the standpoint of nobody was really trying to kill Frank's client. They simply wanted to cut that bitch-ass ponytail off that motherfucker. This is the one thing this show has taught me, above and beyond any other thing, of all of these movies we've watched now. Why are there so many fucking ponytails in Hollywood?
Especially in the 80s and 90s. Like late 80s, early 90s, ponytails ruled the world.
I thought it was like mullets and then like Caesar cuts and then like, you know, just here's hair. And that all just disappeared. It's all ponytails, kids.
Can I let me just throw in a don't do that, because you make a very valid point here.
Don't do that, it's not good for you.
Hi, CEOs out there, and very successful businessmen. Don't grow a ponytail. Like, it's just not a good look for the CEO of a company. Like, picture, I don't know, Elon Musk. Picture Jeff Bezos. Now, put a ponytail on him. Are you going to take that guy seriously? No. I mean, we don't anyway, but no. Especially if he's got a ponytail. What the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah,
Lop the ponytail off. You're not like an artist or a musician. You own a company. You're like the CFO, but yet, like, you know what's going to be really cool in these business meetings? Fucking ponytail. What?
That's how you know he gets upset in a business meeting. He just flips his hair back. Listen to me, boys. I'm not having it.
Oh, and also, this applies nowadays to man buns. No man buns as the CEO. Can't do it. Can't do it.
I'm out of order? You're out of order.
So, cut to Bill Devaney asking Frank to be the bodyguard for Rachel Marron, a pop singer, very popular. Frank initially refuses because he doesn't do celebrities, but he then very quickly changes his mind because Bill ups the ante from $2,000 a week to $3,000 a week. So this Rachel Marron character, she's been getting death threats and a blown up doll or whatever the hell she's getting, letters in the mail and whatever. And they're like, oh, we'll pay you $2,000 a week. He's like, I don't do celebrities. Fuck those assholes. And he's like, 3,000? Yeah, we could do 3,000. All right, I'm in. Okay, guy, settle the fuck down. Like, just don't go on your don't ride your high horse as far like, celebrities, gross. And then take an extra $1,000 a week.
You were right.
That's
don't
stupid.
claim to have morals if your morals are only worth an extra $1,000.
And another thing in this scene, I don't know what we're setting up here outside of the fact that he's going to be Rachel Marron's bodyguard, because he gets he's in this I don't know, lounger or whatever in the backyard. And then he gets the knives and he's like, oh, don't stand behind me. Oh, I missed that one. And then he just starts like flinging. I don't know what that's all about. I'm really good at what I do, but I also have a sense of humor.
Yeah, I honestly didn't get that either. Because at first I was just like, oh, he's pounding fucking screwdrivers because he drinks orange juice like it's going out of style, or Bloody Marys, or whatever the fuck he's drinking here. Cool. That's a funny little bit. Like, oh, I'm a little bit drunk. Whoops-a-daisies.
Yeah.
But he doesn't drink.
Yeah.
So I don't get what he was trying to do here, but
I don't get it.
Whatever. I'm pretty sure, though, this may have been where my throwing knives obsession really came into play. And I have to say, I was very disappointed that this really does not come back. There's another comedic scene that involves knives coming up, but that's it.
I was going to say, it's that one time.
Yeah,
and that's
it's irrelevant. If he chucks a fucking knife at the dude at the end of the movie, thwack. Dope. That's what we call a payoff in the biz, kids.
Yeah.
This totally goes against the principle of like the whole Chekhov's gun thing, which is if you show a gun in the first act, fucking use it in the third act.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
So now we get Frank driving his El Camino to Marron's mansion. When he gets there, he realizes that there is obviously a security issue and there's way too many people at her house, and none of those way too many people want him there.
Yeah, I'm just going to do this real quick.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, single ladies. Uncle Corey here. If you are a single woman living on your own, I don't care what your celebrity status is, what your ego tells you, how much money you have, whatever the fuck. Look at Nicole Brown Simpson. That's the archetype you should be, like, that's the warning that you should all be taking right now as a single woman. This fucking dude, I could break into this chick's house and fucking kill her. And nobody would know. It's like you just walk through the fucking gate.
And you'd be loud as
matter.
fuck. You'd be loud as fuck, and they still be like, "Hey, are you supposed to be here?" Oh yeah, totally.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm a terrible criminal, and I could do this with ease. Like I was stealing the fucking Limburg baby. Like
Absolutely.
This is insane.
And by the way, I'm just gonna throw this out there, all right? And this isn't a don't do that or a PSA of any sort, but this is not how you rehearse for tour. You actually schedule some time at a place where you have the dance moves going. There's no film crew with the crane coming in, filming, because it says rehearsal. You're not, and by the way, if you're not doing it at the artist's house, nobody goes to the artist's house, okay?
No, this isn't crazy.
And outside of that, you're not filming it with like a professional film crew. You're not having 1,000 people there. You're not doing it and even if they're filming a fucking music video, still not doing it at the artist's house, period. So after meeting Rachel, Frank leaves because he knows this whole thing is a shit show. Devaney tries to get him to stay. Frank meets Rachel's son, and then Devaney shows Frank all the death threat letters Rachel's been receiving, and Devaney and her publicist haven't told her about any of this. They're keeping her in the dark because like she's got to focus on her career and her music and blah, blah, blah. Listen, bitch is getting like stuffed bunnies blown up in her dressing room and fucking death threat letters with no fingerprints on them. Like, this is obviously a professional guy. At some point, you got to fucking fill in the person that you're representing.
Well, yeah, like that's the one thing that confused. I get like, we got to keep her focused. And, like Cy is the kind of bad guy and representing all of the dirt in Hollywood. That's just work, work, work. I don't care what happens to you. Yeah. Work, work, work. Fine. But you're telling me Bill Cobb's character is so goddamn stupid. He didn't see this letter and go, oh, you know what? Maybe we should fix the fucking intercom at the gates. Like, there's some basic level shit here that he's just like, I don't know what to do.
Or, what? I don't know. Your solution to this whole thing is to hire a bodyguard who used to be the bodyguard or security like for the Secret Service and presidents and shit like that. That's your solution. Not taking all of these letters and shit to the cops. That's not your solution. Like, that's step one. Step two is then going out and hiring Frank and whatever. Let's tighten up security around here. Yeah. Because we also find out that whoever left the letter came in, left the letter on the bed, and he jerked off all over the bed.
Somebody broke in and masturbated on the bed.
When you find a letter and semen on your bed, that's a fucking problem. That's when you don't hire Frank Farmer, one old guy. You hire a team of guys who look like, I don't know, Terry Crews to come in, and you got 12 of these. You're basically building a football team to surround your artist.
You were right.
Kevin Costner here takes on an investigatory role and starts working with his old Secret Service counterparts because she's a celebrity and she's important.
Yes.
Well, if she's a celebrity and she's important, this would have been done immediately.
Dude, the FBI would have been involved from jump.
I don't understand the level of ignorance. Like, you don't need a bodyguard to tell you that you need a gate and an intercom that work.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
and I want to know.
Or, hey, here's an idea. Let's lock our windows at night because somebody came into the home and masturbated on the bed. That's a fucking problem. And I guarantee you, she does it the whole fucking movie, being Whitney Houston's character. Yeah. She gets scared for like 15 minutes and then goes, nobody's pushing me away. I do what I want. I'm the queen of the night. Right? Like, that's her whole thing. This entire fucking movie. So cool. Just tell her what's happening so she can at least get the fucking kid out of the house.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Frank then starts preparing for his assignment. He decides he's going to do it. He's talking to Rachel's limo driver. He's making a ton of changes to the property. He's removing windows and putting new windows in. He's changing the security system. He's training the limo driver how to drive in case they get chased by fucking banditos or whatever like, I don't know what. Okay, cool. He's teaching them how to do the driving things. Then one afternoon, Frank catches a truck following them. And then after trying to chase it down on foot, the truck gets away.
I really was hoping we would get a Point Break moment here because it was set up so primed.
Yes.
When he jumped down and like I thought he was going to fuck up his knee, but it just turns out he's old. So he's just like, oh shit. And then he should have just fired his gun in the air.
Have you ever fired your gun up in the air and gone, ah? No, I have not ever fired my gun up in the air and gone, ah.
That'd have been dope as fuck. But of course not, because his name's Frank Farmer. So he just fucking laid there like a wet fucking blanket.
So Rachel then continues to get pissed that Frank is this fanatic and making changes that are affecting her life. And we see them butting heads, but then she catches Frank watching her music video and things start to change. And she's like, oh, he is human and not just a robot. He's a real boy.
I'm Frank. This celebrity is making life fucking impossible for me.
Yes.
Yet I'm not allowed to tell her why I'm such a fanatic.
Yes.
This isn't just maybe you loosely had a threat, but you had a Barbie doll blow up in your fucking room. You're getting these letters, no fingerprints. It's taking them a lot of time to actually paste all these letters together, macrame it, and send it out to you. Then somebody breaks into your house, jerks off on the bed, and I can't tell you any of this.
Yes.
That seems to me like I can't effectively do my job.
You were right.
If you do tell her all of the things that have happened, these arguments and these butting heads, it never happens.
No.
She's just like, fuck, somebody jerked off on the bed, sending me death threat letters, blowing up Barbie in my fucking dressing room or whatever the fuck. Yeah. Bulletproof windows? Fucking dope. Put my son in a bubble? Fucking dope. Like, whatever you're deciding that you need to do it. They're not arguing about any of this shit. Well, why can't I go to Jabba Juice or whatever the fuck she wants to go to on Wednesdays? Well, you can. Just go on Tuesdays. Wow, you're fucking up my whole goddamn universe. Settle down. Somebody masturbated on your bed. Enough said.
Once Seaman gets into any equation, everything changes. Like we're doing wherever I was mentally, Siemens entered it. I'm now doing a complete flip and I'm getting the fuck out.
Yes, absolutely.
That's just me.
So,
maybe I have a semen phobia.
So one night, Rachel heads out to a club to perform. While Rachel is in her dressing room, she gets another letter. Bill then tells her about all the other letters and someone being in her house and the masturbation, and she flips out. And they try to take her home and cancel the show. And this is where we get Rachel deciding that nobody's going to stop me from performing because I'm a blah, blah, blah. So another quick thing here. For pop stars, I don't know how many pop stars you've seen perform, whether it's live or on TV or whatever. This stage is 48 not even 48 inches off the ground. It's maybe 24 inches off the ground. That's not happening. You know why? Because tennis players have gotten stabbed on the fucking court. Basketball players have gotten attacked. You get people running onto NFL fields all the time. And that's never stopped. That's never not been a thing. Nope. And you have fanatics of musicians, bands, whatever, entertainers that are fucking crazy. That's why stages are typically about shoulder level or higher, so that people can't climb on the stage and attack you.
And they also have those things lining the stage. What are they called? Security guards.
Yes.
Where the fuck is the club security here?
They spent all the money on Frank Farmer. He's
this
just
isn't even.
He's in the corner just watching everything.
This isn't even like a malicious attack on her. She just gets rushed on stage, which, like, okay, put Lady Gaga on a stage in that club with no security.
Yeah.
The exact same fucking thing would happen.
100%.
Just through the chaos and the dancing, she gets knocked off a stage. Well, now we're doing Carrie the fucking pop star.
There isn't a scene in a movie, in my opinion, that is more accurate than this one. If you're a female and you're crowd surfing, you're gonna get molested, which is what happens to Whitney's character here. They're taking her fucking pearls off and her helmet. They're basically like, oh, cool, free shit that I could sell on eBay. Awesome. And they just start fucking taking shit off her. And this is where Frank jumps into action. He saves her, bounces out the back door as the limo driver takes them home. Her actual security guard, Tony, is just like, hey, why don't you come over here? There's a salami sandwich out front that I gotta eat that, and then we'll go out here. And then he gets out and he's like, dude, where's the fucking limo? Like, you talk about like inept security. You were asking where the security guards are around the stage. This is who they've surrounded her with for, I mean, as far as the movie tells me, her entire career. It's a bunch of Tonys that might care about her, but are also inept at their job.
Yeah, if you're a security guard, just basic bitch security guard, and have ever worked with a celebrity in any way, they're always leaving from the back. They may arrive through the front because that's where you get your pictures taken when you're all pretty before the thing starts. And they all exit out the rear of the building.
Absolutely.
It's the way they have always fucking done it.
From the beginning of time.
Period. So for Tony to be like, hey, out front, the limo's there. Is it your first fucking hour on the job, you fat turd? What the fuck are you doing? And then this is also where we get the first glimpse of our psycho for the movie. The front kick, though, that was pretty fucking dope.
That was pretty dope. That was pretty dope.
Straight to the chest, and dude flew back like he got kicked by fucking John Wick. It was awesome.
I was gonna say that was a Charlie Murphy kick to the chest. That's what that was.
Yes.
That's exactly what that was. We then, after this is where we get the fight between Frank and Tony, the other bodyguard, which is literally the worst fight ever because Tony can't fight. He's throwing the slowest punches because he has to, because Kevin Costner, even though he was probably 30, is like an 80-year-old, 30-year-old. So he's very slowly dodging these punches. And this, let's just say this isn't the fucking Matrix. Like this is total opposite of the fucking Matrix fights. He's slowly dodging these, punches, and then he gets the knife, and then he throws the knife at Tony and hits the cupboard next to his head, and Tony's like, hey, it was just joking. And then like that was it.
I actually like this scene quite a bit. I didn't like it for the fighting. I wasn't like, oh my God, this is so amazingly accurate. I thought it was a funny, they knew what the scene was. They had to get over the conflict between Tony and Frank at some point in time.
True. That is true.
Clearly had no idea how to write it out. So you just do this quick fight scene. We always talk about it too in movies, books, TV shows, where your hero, if it's an action kind of thing in any way, always has to have that dummy to demonstrate how skillful they are.
Yeah.
Tony's that dummy. You get to demonstrate the level of experience and skill between the two in an actual fighting situation. And you get through it with this little, I guess, fluff or chunks falling off that hurt your plot. There's just nothing here. It's a quick scene. It's funny. It's cute. Ha ha ha. And we move on. And Tony, for the rest of the movie, sort of tries his best.
Kinda.
But not really.
While fucking eating prosciutto, like the whole fucking movie.
Yeah. We can just get this out of the way now because Tony goes from like, okay, I'm on board. Frank's way is the way. He gets it, right?
Yeah.
But then he still goes out shopping with Rachel when they go to Miami.
Yeah.
And then he's all awkward, like he's like the stepkid in the middle of mom and stepdaddy fighting. And he doesn't know what to do. Like, did I do something wrong? I don't know. And then they go to the Oscar party, and he's like, no, keep filling up that champagne, bitch. You know what I mean? And then he gets his ass kicked again by a guy holding a fucking camera. So it's like the limo driver who had zero experience in security whatsoever, has taken on to this like a fucking duck to water.
Yeah.
Tony, who has experience, he's shopping in Miami and fucking getting blitzed on Dom. Like, that's his job.
Tony's just happy to be there. He's just happy to have a fucking job. Let's be honest about Tony. The next day, Rachel asks Frank out on a date, which is probably one of the most surprising scenes I've seen in film history. Then cut to Frank and Rachel going on their date, to a movie, and then to a hole-in-the-wall bar where they learn more about each other. And then Frank takes her back to his house and into his, like, dirty, dingy basement where we get a little sword play, and then they start making out, and then they take the sword play and sexy times upstairs. It cuts to them upstairs in the bed, right? The sword is on the dresser, and like her panties are just like on top of it. You fucking brought the sword upstairs. For what reason? For what fucking reason? The sword didn't need to come upstairs. I'm just, again, we don't kink shame, but unless one of these motherfuckers is a cutter, I don't know why the sword had to come upstairs.
You were right.
I was lost because, look, I'm like any other human being on this planet, maybe even a little bit more sexually charged up than some. But when I watch a movie, and there are two good-looking people getting ready to have sex on camera, I'm like, dope. I want to watch this. I did not want to watch this. There was nothing appealing about them as a couple.
No, and again, you said two sexy people.
I said two good-looking people.
Two good-looking people. Whitney Houston, good-looking. Kevin Costner, I've never bought into the Kevin Costner hype. That's an ugly motherfucker. I am sorry. And I apologize to everybody out there like, Kevin Costner, he's a good older looking guy. He's been a good older looking guy since he was 16. He's looked 40 since he was 16 years old. I never got the appeal of Kevin Costner. And I don't want to see that dude fuck. Fuck that guy.
Okay, yeah, that was basically where I was going with it.
Oh.
But yeah, there's a lot of venom in there. I don't know what priests look like Kevin Costner in your parish that hurt you, but
you know what,
I want to say I'm sorry.
Father Tony.
Hoo-ah.
The next day, Frank is back to business, breaks things off with Rachel because the little head got in the way and he got all the poison out. And like now he's like, I need to pay attention to my job and be your bodyguard. And I can't do that while my penis is inside you. Whatever.
It's a fair point.
Is it?
Yeah, I've broken up with women because it's like, look, I can't protect you because I care about you too much.
That's why you can't protect them.
That's right. It's the only reason.
Listen. Here's the thing. Kevin Costner is this professional bodyguard, and I take everything seriously. And some would call me a fanatic. And I'm putting bulletproof shit on everything. And you can't do this, and you can't go there. And I have this thing like I can't care about you and like be inside you, but also be your bodyguard. But yet I'm going to break all my rules and be inside you and then makes the situation 10 times worse the next day.
Yes.
If you're that professional, then just don't do it. What are we doing here?
In fairness, it is 1993 Whitney Houston.
No, I get it. But
I'm just saying.
But also, it goes against his character. That's all I'm saying. So one day after this charity event where one of Frank's bodyguard friends gets a little too aggressive with her, they get into a fight about the night before and
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, everyone in the world. Uncle Corey here. If a guy looking like that, just those basic facial features, steps up and starts talking, he is that guy. Every time.
Yes.
Every time. He is that rapey, putrid kind of smug motherfucker. You don't want anything. I don't care what you're going through. And like, I'm I'll show you, Frank Farmer. I'm gonna fuck. No, not him. Anybody, pick Bill Cobbs.
Dude,
anybody else in that room but that guy is the guy you
This
go
is
home
why this movie is not only unrealistic, but is complete and utter horseshit. Because Whitney Houston fucks the two most unattractive guys in this movie within 15 minutes of screen time of each other. Well, she doesn't fuck the second guy, but she's like, fuck you, Frank, and I'm going to take him back to the room. And then he gets a little too fucking aggressive. And she's like, okay, this fucking... What about his face, like you said, screamed like, he's going to treat me gently. Look at his face. You know he's got a couple of cases on him already.
Oh, yeah.
Just by looking at him. Listen, I'm not one like, hey, get to know somebody before you don't like him. I don't like that guy. I don't like his fucking face. Period.
No, if we recast Con Air today, he is Johnny 23.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is.
Rachel then gets a phone call from the letter guy. Frank doesn't care, and he says he's quitting once they get back to LA. And Rachel then tells Frank that she needs him so bad and she's scared. And Frank then tells Rachel to cancel all of her shows, like, fuck your publicist, which I totally agree with. And we're going to take a vacation to get away. Now, we're talking money here. We ain't canceling shows, pal. Okay? That's not happening. What we can do is change up our entire routine like you've suggested. We could do all of these things. But people have bought tickets. In no universe are these motherfuckers canceling shows, even with death threats.
No.
Period.
It took a motherfucking lightning storm to make Lady Gaga cancel a show. During the show.
Yes. Yeah.
They don't cancel shit.
No.
That's why you walk through metal detectors before you go to these shows. That's why security's all over the stage. In most places, not the fucking Mayan in this movie, but in most places, that's why you have barricades and security around the stage.
Yep.
People are watched. Believe me, there are people on top of the top watching down in the crowd with binoculars, making sure none of you fools are trying to do something.
So then we cut to Rachel, her sister Nicki, Rachel's son, and Frank going to his dad's cabin in the woods at the fucking North Pole or somewhere.
Am I wrong? Or does Rachel and Frank's father have an entire conversation while Frank's father is preparing dinner for everyone? And Rachel never offers to help one time?
No, she doesn't.
Corey's Life Lessons.
Hi, house guests. Uncle Corey here. They're probably going to say no anyway, but always offer to help do something. Pick up the dishes. Can I cut something? Can I wash a vegetable for you? Can I clear the plates for you? You egotistical bitch. Unbelievable. By the way, you're here because we're trying to protect your life. This isn't a vacation.
Frank here closes up for the night. He's closing up the house before bed. Nikki's all drunk. She hits on Frank and kisses him, but he refuses her advances.
Yeah, and both these girls like to use the word fuck like it's some kind of mic drop moment.
Why stop at one sister when you could have fucked them both?
Again, there's a lot of venom in that word surrounding. There's just a lot of venom surrounding Kevin Costner today, and I don't really get it. Like, look, I get it. I've been calling the dude a wet blanket the whole time, but
I don't know.
Motherfuckers are ruthless on him.
All I know is Kevin Costner is as much venom as I've poured into him in this review. He must have some great D because they are aggressive about it. The next day, Frank sees Fletcher taking his dad's boat out into the lake. He tackles him, runs down the fucking thing, tackles him off the boat into the water as the boat drives aimlessly into the lake, and then it explodes.
I like this part too because everyone here is just screaming at Frank.
Frank, you're crazy! You're out of your mind! You could have drowned him, Frank! You could have drowned him!
I'm not knocking him off the boat. because he's driving the boat. I'm knocking him off because I saw footprints. And again,
Yes.
just to reiterate, Rachel, there's someone actively trying to murder you.
It's like they forget it.
Dude, every 15 minutes. This is so ridiculous. It's like, oh my God, you're so crazy. You saved my son's life, you son of a bitch piece of shit. By the way, I'm just standing over here as Frank, dying of hypothermia because I dove into the fucking lake to save him.
After everyone freaks out, Frank plans to hunker down for the night and leave the next morning.
This part is the only realistic part in this movie thus far. They hard cut to just forearms throwing shit into bags to get the fuck out of there. That's finally how you behave.
Yes.
Oh no, the murderer caught up with us. Time to get the fuck out of here.
And Frank here then catches Nicki drunk as fuck again. And she admits that she hired this dude to kill Rachel because she hates Rachel, but loves her son and wouldn't hurt him.
What was the contact's name? What was the contact's name?
Apparently she met a dude named Armando.
Yeah, a dude.
Who arranged all of it.
Hell yes.
So you co-host a show.
Yes.
On YouTube.
Yes.
You're a musician.
Yes.
And you also set up murders.
And I was also a vampire in France.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is.
You know what? I get around.
Yeah.
I'm like Tupac.
You're like Kevin Costner.
Frank then hears his dog growling upstairs. He runs throughout the house to find the killer because he knows he's in there. Nicki gets shot and killed by dude, and then Frank chases him outside, but he gets away again. That night, Frank talks to his dude at the agency, and they say that they caught the albino letter guy. It obviously wasn't him who was at the house, and now there's two killers. Oh my God.
No. That guy was so fucking creepy.
We know it.
When he got Charlie Murphy'd in the club, even seeing this originally, you had to be like, oh, that's the fucking dude. Because nobody else looks like that in the entire movie.
Two things. One, that. Two, can they have made it more obvious from literally when Frank gets to Rachel's house that her sister had something to do with this?
Oh, she's a jealous ass bitch.
Like, every time they cut to her, she's like, she always looked like she just ate a lemon. She's pissed about something all the time.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, Nickies of the world. Uncle Corey here. Listen to your voice.
Jesus loves me. Oh, yes, he does.
And then listen to your sister's voice.
For the Bible tells me so.
Even if she dies, you still ain't gonna make it. You just don't have the tools, baby.
Yeah.
Be thankful you're on a coattail and ride them all the way. That's it. You're treated really well. You're not treated like the help. Like she asks you to fetch coffee and shit every once in a while.
Cool.
Big deal. Free room and board and food and everything.
In a mansion.
Else. And I get to ride around in celebrity, but not actually have to deal with the responsibility of celebrity.
Yes.
Fucking sight. Well, you want milk, sugar? What do you want in that?
Fuck yeah.
I'll fucking grab you all the coffees you want. Nicki,
absolutely.
Your perspective is way askew. For this Nicki and all the other Nickis of the world.
This movie then culminates at the Oscars. Rachel is nominated for Best Actress, and Frank is right by her side. On the side of the stage, he sees his old buddy Portman that Frank thinks banged Rachel when they were back in Miami or whatever. Frank then gets a feeling that the killer, the second killer, will try to kill Rachel in front of all the cameras. Frank realizes who the killer is. It's Portman. Rachel goes up to accept her award. Portman gives Tony the fucking Three Stooges treatment, like the poke to the eyes, a weak-ass karate chop to the neck, and Tony is fucking out for the count.
Done.
And then he goes after Rachel as she gets on the stage, So he shoots at her with his camera gun, but Frank dives in front of her, catching the bullet. And after getting shot, he kills Portman. And then the movie ends as we see Frank at the airport after he gets out of the hospital. Frank's quit as Rachel's bodyguard. He gets her an old dude as her new bodyguard. They hug before she gets on the plane. And as the plane begins to taxi, Rachel stops everything, gets off, runs to Frank. They make out. And the movie ends as we see Rachel singing and Frank back working security for a politician. We end this movie on a still shot of Frank standing next to a flag.
Looking
just
intense. Smoldering, if you will.
Looking goofy as fuck with that stupid haircut he got for this movie.
You were right.
As a movie, big budget, the actors, fine. Everything is... This movie isn't dog shit. It was better than I thought it was going to be this time around. Mm-hmm. This movie was just... I didn't feel strongly one way or the other. It was just meh for me.
Yeah, I remember really liking it when I was a kid. I really liked Kevin Costner's whole thing about, the bodyguard and like this and throwing knives and shooting guns with your eyes closed and shit, which doesn't really work that well. But I was really I really liked this movie. And then I saw it again and I didn't like it so much. And now I watched it and I liked it a little bit more. And that's because I finally connected the whole samurai aspect, like the metaphor of him being a samurai and like that kind of metaphor they were trying to go with.
Oh, they went with it the whole time with the karate movie, the sword, they peppered it in. I
got it a little bit more this time, and that made me appreciate it a little bit more because I could see that they were actually trying to do something a little different with an old school kind of samurai movie. However, it didn't work all the way around. It's a good movie. It's not a bad movie.
It's not bad.
But like Armando said, it's not a great movie. Whitney Houston does a fantastic job. I won't even front on what the soundtrack is.
Oh, dude, you beat me to the punch. Soundtrack is fucking dope.
Yeah, soundtrack's amazing. Can't even pretend. But I think that's why the movie was bigger than it was. It was Whitney at the height of her career in her first movie with an incredible soundtrack.
Yeah.
You take those things away, it's not all bad. You put Katy Perry in the role with Kevin Costner and let Katy Perry do the entire soundtrack. Different movie.
100%.
And
100%.
all bad. So that's kind of how I look at it. I'm excited to listen to the soundtrack. I actually am going to listen to the soundtrack again.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I took away from this movie is I want to listen to the soundtrack.
And I know we brought up, Whitney's like, Queen of the Night. Dude, that's a dope song. Period. Yeah. That song hits. Like,
it does.
That one's
slick in it.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's an aggressive tune. Mm-hmm. And I'm there for it. I fucking love that song. But yeah, front to back, the soundtrack is pretty awesome. And I would even put the title track as my least favorite on that soundtrack. Yeah. And that song's a fucking banger too.
Yeah, I'm surprised Kevin Costner didn't worm his way into playing acoustic guitar on one of the songs.
We know it.
Oh my God, do you have anything else?
No, I got to go buy a hat because when my hair grows out again, I'm going to hit that Kevin Costner stage and you're going to be so mean to me. I got to go find something to put on my head.
It's going to be bad. Well, before we get there, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 1992's The Bodyguard.